Hello and welcome back to The Divide, and today on The Divide we're going over the unfortunate letter we received from the Mountaintop Studio X account and basically just going over the sunset of the game. Unfortunately, it is happening, although they did start off with enough players at the start of Season 1. They couldn't continue that player count, or they couldn't maintain that player count, so they unfortunately have to sunset the game and close the studio. Now, I'm just going to go through and read the letter here, and then we'll get on to what some of my thoughts about how the studio failed and how players are failing the studio that tried to do something different, but I'll go over that after reading the letter. So here's the letter. Dear Spectre fans, it's been 2 weeks since the launch of Spectre Divide Season 1 Flashpoint. We're incredibly grateful for the positivity and support that you've shown over the short time. Unfortunately, the Season 1 launch hasn't achieved the level of success that we needed to sustain the game and keep Mountaintop afloat. We were optimistic about the first week. We had 400,000 players play with a peak concurrent player count of 10,000 across all platforms. But as time has gone on, we haven't seen enough active players and incoming revenue to cover the day-to-day costs of Spectre and the studio. Since the PC launch, we stretched our remaining capital as far as we could, but at this point, we are out of funding to support the game. This means Mountaintop will be closing its doors at the end of this week. We expect to take Spectre offline within the next 30 days, but we plan on disabling new purchases and refunding money spent since Season 1 launch via the platform. We'll be following up with more information on this soon. We pursued every avenue to keep going, including finding a publisher, additional investment, or an acquisition. In the end, we weren't able to make it work. The industry is a tough spot right now. This is a painful update to share. We love Spectre and we're incredibly proud of what we built with this community. From the entire team at Mountaintop, I want to thank the Spectre community for all your support these past few years. We've loved every minute and we're sincerely going to miss you. Special thanks to our incredible investors too, without which Spectre wouldn't have been possible. This has been a passion project for us, born out of love for this genre, an indie team of insanely talented individuals who came together from around the world to build a game we believe in. We wanted to deliver something innovative and original in the crowded genre that would bring friends together around unforgettable moments. We shook up the format, created a fresh art style and universe, and partnered with some of our heroes. All of us knew from the beginning that the odds were against us, but that's what we signed up for. It was never a surefire bet. We did it anyway. We had a few tough stumbles out of the gate when we launched in September, but this team rallied and poured everything into tackling your critical feedback for Season 1. We made major changes and improvements to virtually every area of the game and brought the game to console. Even though it wasn't enough to achieve financial success, the team fought tooth and nail and went down swinging. The development team, game development is full of twists, turns, surprises, and the industry has changed dramatically since we started the project in 2020. Even though we missed the mark this time, we wouldn't trade the journey for anything. That's all from us. See you out there, Nate and the Mountaintop team. So yeah, I mean, as you can see, the game is unfortunately going to be taken down. They're shutting down the studio within the next week, and the game will be offline for the next 30 days. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but in a game industry that we currently have, it's just tough to see someone who is trying to self-publish and do things the correct way get stomped out by AAA titles and AAA developers that continue to disappoint everyone, but they already have a bunch of loyal fans, so they can do anything and get away with it. It's really unfortunate. But I'm just going to finish out this video with some of my thoughts on how the whole Spectre Divide thing went. Obviously, unfortunately, I think that they released the game too early. Now, they did so because they were seeking additional funding, which for a company that is its own publisher, that makes a lot of sense. However, the problem with that is that they sort of released the game, but they didn't state that it was a beta. And I think that's what they should have done, was they should have said that it was a beta, because the game launched with frame issues, anti-cheat issues, server issues, and those three things together made it so that people would say, oh, a new game, let me try it out. Oh, wow, there's a lot of issues on release. This is a problem. Obviously, if they said, hey, we're releasing in a beta phase until season 1, we're just going to be fixing some things. If you want to come and play, we highly encourage you to check it out, but this is just going to be a beta. I feel like people would understand more and be like, oh yeah, okay, I'm hopping in. This is just a beta. There's some issues. I'm going to give my feedback, and I'm going to come back for season 1 and see what it's all about. Another problem, obviously, is the thing with Shroud, which a lot of people, and this is like sort of on the players more than it's on Spectre Divide. A lot of players just saw Shroud make a video where he's like, I made a game. And obviously that video name doesn't help, but in the video he explains that, you know, he's been helping out with the game, that it's not necessarily his, but he every sort of 2 weeks or so he gives his feedback and tries it out and gives his feedback. The problem with that is that everyone just expected Shroud to carry the game in a sense, but Shroud didn't play after sort of the initial launch, and I didn't see him playing anything during season 1, which sort of also didn't get as many eyes onto the game as Spectre probably would have wanted. Another thing is the tournament for season 1. The only tournament that they had set was a console tournament for Optic Gaming. Now, if you don't know Optic Gaming, they are an esports company that mostly does console games. So their major ones are Halo and Call of Duty. I think they have an Apex team too, and a few other teams, mostly content creators as well. But the problem with that is that you only got one sort of set of dedicated player base and fan base with eyes on the game. If they had made the first tournament of season 1 inviting creators like Tim the Tatman, It's Timmy, Shroud, and got them to invite 2 friends, and then they'd play an attorney that way, they would have gotten a lot more eyes on it from a lot more different types of communities. And I feel like, you know, you would have gotten more views on the entire thing rather than one team who mostly does console stuff, which Spectre is primarily better on PC as a tactical shooter. I feel like if they invited more creators to this $10,000 tournament instead of just one team, then it would have gone better for them. But yeah. That's my thoughts on where sort of Spectre went wrong. In terms of this channel, I'm going to upload every single sponsor as well as I'm going through the menu video. But other than that, I'm not going to transition to Fragpunk. I still have my main channel, which is Junkerpug, where I just sort of stream random games. And, you know, I might play some Fragpunk on there. I might play some, I know I mostly play Overwatch, Call of Duty, Apex, but those videos will be on that channel. But in terms of this one, after I release the rest of the sponsor showcases and the menu showcase, that will be it for this channel. It'll sort of just be here to commemorate Spectre Divide. Again, I said that Spectre made a lot of mistakes, but they were also trying to self-publish, make a sort of new twist on a already pretty saturated game genre. And, you know, that's kind of hard to do. So I commemorate them for that. I thank them for trying to self-publish and not get bought out by some greedy publisher. But yeah, that's it for me on this topic. Yeah. RIP Spectre Divide. Peace.